there was arguments about who's gonna share a bed, and
Yep.
Matt said fuck that, and he was like, we're making super bed. And so he pulled the nightstand out
Oh,
from
there
in
you go.
between, and we pushed the two double beds together, and we had super bed, and just
Super
all
bed.
three of us just slept right across super bed.
There's no way that if you've curled competitively and you did it before the year 2010, that you haven't made super bed at some point. It's just everybody's done it.
I think.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Curling Nation Season 5, Episode 6. You're a Durometer. Today we're talking... You're a Durometer. Today we're...
You're a Durometer.
You're a Durometer. Shut up, Richard. Today we're talking with Tyler George.
Another gold medalist.
Another gold medalist. Third
Three
one.
in a row.
Three in a row. It's almost like we got some pull in this curling.
Who should we get next? That's the weird question.
We're gonna run out of gold medalists sooner or later.
No, we're not.
Rachel Holman, 2 weeks. We'll see. Who knows?
She hasn't won Olympic gold.
No, she hasn't.
Whatever.
Caitlin lost. Anyway.
Okay. Go
Anyway, so we talk with Tyler about nationals and karaoke slams, broom stuff,
Yep.
Foam.
Durometers.
It
was a good show.
Lots of things. Stay tuned. But first, Modus Financial. If you need a credit card processing system, you're a curling club, you're a bonspiel, you want to take money from people, make it easier on your treasurers who are volunteers. Most likely volunteers, they're going to love Modus Financial. If you need a single credit card swiper, a whole point of sale system, website integration, Modus has what you need. Visit moduscc.com. Mason can get you set up. Also, Endgame Curling. They've got a travel broom. They've got a non-slip silicone sleeve. They have a couple different styles of brooms. Club fabric, world fabric. He knows a lot about foam pads.
Sold 4 travel handles today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Those things,
My biggest travel handle day of all time.
Curly might be rich.
those travel handles are surprisingly strong.
Curly might be able to give me a free broom now.
Yeah. Still waiting on that, Cry. Still waiting. The most economical broom head replacement. All you gotta do is change out the fabric. Cheaper than changing the whole head.
Do it.
So visit endgamecurling.com. And thanks to Croy for supporting our little podcast.
Yeah. What do we got for updates, Joel?
Updates. It's been a while. First of all, thanks for being patient. I got a newborn. Things are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But we're getting into a groove of.
We also had to reschedule Tyler
We had to reschedule 4
two times, 3 times,
3
2 or 3 times.
I sent him 3 different Zoom invites.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
It wasn't his fault.
Wasn't his fault.
I mean,
stuff was blowing up about broom
we were
stuff.
busy and he was busy, and
Yeah.
it's fine. Whatever.
But yeah, thanks to
Our loyal listeners.
our loyal listeners. We're getting into a groove on taking care of the little one. She's not sleeping that
No,
well.
you're not. No, you're not.
Right-
No, you're not.
Right now we are. Right now.
Today, Joel thinks
Today.
he's got it figured out. Just wait until tomorrow.
Yep. We got kind of figured out now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Good luck.
Better than we had yesterday.
Good. Yeah,
So-
there you go. Boom.
So yes, thank you for being patient.
I talked to your wife on the way in, and I disagree.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
What do we have for real update?
Real updates. Team USA, the guys won silver at Wugs. They lost to
Norway. 8-4.
8-4. Coach Pep got the old Curling Nation bump.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Congratulations to the other teams that went, though. Team McDonald played in the women's event, and then Coleman Thurston and Sarah Olson played mixed doubles. Or Sarah Olson and Coleman Thurston, I think is the way you're supposed to say it.
Olson Thurston.
Olson
Yes.
Thurston.
Yep.
Whatever, either way. Congratulations to them as well.
Wisconsin represent.
Baby.
Good one.
You're welcome.
That's
Didn't expect that, but great. Also, Laura Dwyer and Steve Empt won gold at wheelchair mixed doubles.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Worlds in Stevenston, Scotland.
Cool.
Or is it Stevenston?
I don't know.
They're going to Scotland.
Never been.
They're going to Scotland in
Going to
March.
Scotland and playing against world teams. Cool.
They're going
Good luck.
tomorrow?
March.
Oh,
March.
I thought you said tomorrow.
No.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where that came from. No, March.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
March.
All right.
Team, I'm going to screw this up. Team Johnson and
Gensel.
They won U18s
In Rock Creek,
in Rock Creek.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Good for them. There's no U18 Worlds, right?
No.
There's just U21s. Like it's just junior Worlds, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
not the thing that Kevin Martin's having. No, that's mixed doubles.
Yeah.
That's a
mixed
yeah.
doubles event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also
Yeah.
U18, I believe.
Is it?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe not.
We'll have to go back. I'll have to go back and watch.
Junior Worlds, which is
Okay.
probably U21s. So
Alright.
the
Yeah.
U18 teams could, 18-year-olds could theoretically get there.
Got it.
But I don't know. I like Rock Creek. It was a cool spot. We went and visited.
I haven't been yet. I'm hoping to stop by on my way during the mixed doubles Olympic trials / national championships.
Oh,
and
because you're going to be
a
out
month.
skiing, aren't you?
I'm on my way out
you'll
west
be-
to go skiing,
There you go.
and I can make a detour
Mm-hmm.
and go watch
Mhm.
for a day.
Mm-hmm. Stay with Lance and Claire.
No, they're playing. I can't stay with
no, you
competitors.
can't. No,
Come
you
on.
can't. No,
Hmm.
I don't know where I'll stay yet.
You can bring a tent.
we'll figure it out.
Probably too cold to camp.
Probably be a little chilly, at least at night.
Yeah, I could stay at La Quinta.
Do it.
Can't make me speak Spanish.
There's probably a bunch of other stuff that we missed too. There's a bunch of
There's
like
probably-
U5 teams that qualified for U5
whole bunch of U5 teams
nationals.
qualified.
Congratulations to them. If you want to figure out who all those teams are, go back and watch. What was it, episode 2 this season? We had Ben on.
Yep. He knows all that.
Go sign up for his newsletter. And he probably got all of his information in there. I think I just got one recently that I haven't read yet.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
But,
U5 stuff in there.
He does a pretty good job of keeping his finger on the pulse of
It's a good newsletter.
the U5
I enjoy it.
scene, if you will.
Yep.
So check that out.
Yeah.
We don't really have a plan for the next episode, but
No plan for the
we'll-
next episode.
We'll work on that
We
next
don't
month.
have to plan ahead. We just get Olympic
we
gold
do.
medalists every week anyways.
Just get gold medalists.
It's a piece of cake.
Maybe we should have. Maybe did Derek Parr win a gold medal? We should have Derek Parr on.
Derek
just
Parr
really,
won
just completely mix
gold
it up.
medals.
Just have a speed skater
have a
on.
speed skater.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe Casey or Fitz Randolph. He's local. Then we could have Bacon.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I'll make
saying.
bacon for
Casey Fitz Randolph.
a Fitz Randolph.
Yeah. Perfect.
Might even make brats.
He was a speed skater.
Okay.
I'm sure we have some other
Yeah.
local gold medalists.
Yeah. Matt Hamilton.
We don't. Lame.
Go on.
All
All
right.
right, we should probably get to our
Yeah.
interview, huh?
All right. Let's get to Ty.
All right, we got a great guest today. He's back for the second and a half time. I think he came, did a watch party with us. He's got some nationals. He's got a gold medal. He's an all-around good guy. Tyler George, welcome
easy
to
there, Mike. I'd
the
like
show.
to tone
Okay
that
guy?
one down.
He's an okay guy.
He's a guy.
He's a
You can
guy.
say that.
Welcome to
Yep.
the show.
Glad to be back. I didn't know I had a halftime, but
Well, I call
I'll
it
take
it
it.
was like a watch party, and we just had you on. I think you talked to
Sure.
Chelsea about
Yeah.
strategy or something. It was pretty fun.
I
well, I went
there
on for like
no.
3 hours. That was
Yeah.
that was more than a halftime.
Yeah, that
We did
was,
a full game, and if I remember right, it was like 1-0 after 6 ends or something like
I
that.
don't even remember. Maybe
I have a vague
that-
recollection of our game being like an absolute
Ugh.
snore fest.
I have a vague recollection of I think drinking margaritas. So
Great.
yeah.
Look what I got for you.
Yeah, your
Oh,
mouth
gross.
is broken.
Yeah. See
Anyway,
this?
all right.
Ty?
What do you got there?
Joel has a Northeast.
I have a Northeast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's your Super Bowl prediction? Who's going to win this weekend?
I got Washington in an upset to get there on the NFC side. And Buffalo finally breaking through.
All right. Washington over the Eagles and then Bills. Did I hear you say?
Yeah.
I think that's the Super Bowl that everybody wants.
That's the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. That's America's teams right there, especially Washington. And as a Vikings fan, you're kind of kindred spirits with Bills fans, with the heartbreak and tragedy and 4 Super Bowl losses, and all that. They just got theirs out of the way all in a row.
So as a Vikings fan, would you like to see them get there and lose so that the Vikings could get there and win first?
No.
Or would you be cheering for the Bills to win?
I would be cheering for the Bills. And I think everybody should too. I mean, Washington, even though it's been a while, they've won one before. I think if there's one football franchise that you could measure up with the Vikings when it comes to heartbreak, it would be the Bills. So I don't wish that on anybody, really. I hope they do well. Okay. I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. He's fun to watch.
All right. I agree.
Yeah, they've done better than we have recently in the playoffs. But, yeah, we're used to the playoff disappointment. I've been gearing myself up for that all year long.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. They're never bad enough that you can just not care. They just somehow find a way to suck you back in. And then it's just the same disastrous playoff finish every time.
I love it.
I'm kind of Chiefs out too. I don't.
Yeah, I've had enough of the Chiefs.
I've had enough of the Chiefs.
I agree.
They've been good enough for long enough. Congratulations, you won things.
Yeah, I don't really dislike them, but I'm sick of them winning.
Same.
I dislike them a lot less than I did the Patriots under Tom Brady.
Okay.
Fair.
All right. That's it. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time. Good luck.
Wait. Who's going to win the Super Bowl between Buffalo and Washington?
I think if Buffalo gets there, they win. Okay. Whichever team they play. I think whoever comes out of the AFC still wins it. But something about that Washington team. I mean, they've had a bunch of wins this season where they were dead in the water. And they got that mojo going, that Hail Mary against the Bears, comeback victory against the Bengals, and they do it in prime time. They do it when it matters most. Daniels, he's got something there, man. That's a fun team.
As Dick Vitale would say, he's a PTPer. He's a primetime player.
There you go. He's the anti-Kirk Cousins.
There you go.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, I just lost it. I had something I was going to ask him.
I'm sorry.
It'll come back to me.
Okay. All right. Well, we had you on. You've got a lot of things that we can talk about. Do you want to talk about nationals first? Do you want to talk about your newish role with the curling group?
You guys just lead me wherever you want to go. What do you want to talk?
Lead you wherever we want to go.
Yeah.
Are you playing the House of Hearts?
Plan to.
Okay.
As of this point, depending on if the team I'm coaching wins nationals, then I will not be at House of Hearts because I'll be in Korea. So,
are you coaching your sister's team?
I am coaching my sister's team.
Awesome.
Yeah. Who's on that team?
So Courtney's calling the house and throwing third. And Eileen Geving is throwing the brick. And Lexi Daly, is at second. And Sarah Olson at lead, who's just coming back from the Wugs.
Okay. We talked about that team, I don't know, was it after the Duluth Cash or something like that? And was it you that used their maiden names on all of them?
I think we all did.
Well, potentially.
Yeah.
Three of the four have them. Yeah.
Luckily, Sarah Olsen,
we have just decided that we are not going to acknowledge their married names.
Yeah. That's fair. I do it accidentally all the time anyways, as I just did, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so you're coaching them, and let's talk about nationals since he's talking about coaching nationals.
Tell
us about nationals, Ty. Where is it?
Nationals in my hometown, Craig. Finally, it's been since 1999, I believe, that the men's and women's were here. But men's and women's in the deck, not in the curling club, but the curling club is going to be the designated patch for the week. So if you want your beverages between games, during games, whatever, then that's where you're going. And but yeah, just down the hallway in the convention center in the arena, we actually have. So expecting good turnout from the locals, and that's kind of the reason why my sister's team ended up playing, was because nationals was at home. They have busy lives, and none of them were really playing a competitive season, but they figured with the qualifying events being St. Paul and Duluth to get into nationals, if you weren't in the high performance program or if you hadn't gotten enough points on tour, then they thought, yeah, all we got to do is catch lightning in a bottle. And they're all familiar with each other. Obviously, Court and Eileen have played a million games together through juniors and women's. And then they went and won St. Paul, beat the high performance teams. So qualified for nationals already through that. And then I came on board to coach them between St. Paul and Duluth, because I'm a smart man who, rides coattails of winners instead of having to actually do anything.
That's right.
Yeah. So then they go into Duluth and they win that too. So they played 2 events, won both, beating all the other U.S. teams in the process. And they're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. They have the pedigree, but you just don't know what's going to happen when you take a lot of time off. And basically all Courtney was doing was playing some league. Eileen was still playing pretty competitively when it came to mixed doubles and things like that too. But yeah, no adjustment period for the back end. They like the way they mapped the team out with Court calling the house and Eileen throwing last. And it's been really fun watching them. It feels like turning the clock back. And I know it's been a riot for them too, with kind of your competitive career hasn't really been a thing for a while, at least for Courtney. And Lexi coming back from not being in the program anymore and getting a team and winning at this level now too. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's going to be a really fun tournament too. And even looking at the women's field as we're getting into, it's the first time I can remember that it's deep all the way to the bottom, like 1 through 8 can win on any given day. And I think we kind of had to dance around the fact that maybe we only had 4 or 5 competitive teams even in some past years. And I wouldn't say that anybody's outside the realm of possibility of making the playoffs in this field. You got your favorites, but there's some good talent. There's some good depth in that field.
Yeah, I guess that was, well, first of all, don't forget Claire Morris on your sister's team. They just picked up as their 5th. She's friend of show.
Yes,
she was on our show this year. So
yep. No, Claire's been
Claire.
awesome. Yeah,
Awesome.
she touches base basically daily, looking for what else can I do to help. And it's been a breath of fresh air having her involved. Just, one of those people that all the girls agreed to before we made the decision to bring her on, that she's a team person and she'd be a good chemistry fit. And that's been absolutely 100% what we've got for her so far. So
got it.
And
so
yeah, really excited to have her.
Great. Looking at the women's field, is Team Peterson still the belle of the ball? Are they still the team to beat, or do you think someone has supplanted them as kind of the team to beat, for lack of a better term?
I think if you look at the men's and women's fields over the last recent past,
okay,
it's kind of, there's been a king and a queen, with John and Tab, and
for sure,
until somebody beats them when it matters most, they're still the favorites, and that's the way it should be. And you can look at results on tour, and obviously Tab's team with her and Tara both having a child, and priority shifting for a little bit. A lull is to be expected in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would probably tell you that they haven't played up to the level that they would expect, even despite that situation, as high-level competitors.
Mm-hmm.
But all that matters is peaking at the right time, and with their pedigree and talent, especially with Vicky coming on board again too. Vic's a winner. It's all she does. It's the team you have to put as the front runner, but I wouldn't say that if you predicted them to win that you'd feel totally confident with the other few teams that are nipping at their heels right now.
Who do you think are the biggest competitors nipping at their heels? Probably Strauss.
Well, yeah, you have to put the high performance teams in there, obviously. The experienced squads that have been to world championships and have had success on the national stage. But I mean, I'm not being a homer here when I say that you can't sleep on Courtney and Eileen right now, just because of the success that they've had. I mean,
I would agree.
You beat all the other teams, then
for sure
you have to be mentioned in that group. So like I said, I think any of the 8 teams can beat anybody on any given day in this field. That's awesome to be able to say for USA Curling. But yeah, what?
Go. I was going to say, do you have a dark horse you think will make the playoffs?
I was pulling the field up again so I can look at it, and I can tell you. I think Kim Rhymes' team has really improved over the last year or two, and I think in the past they were one of those teams that you expected them to win a game or two that would upset somebody in the top of the field, but maybe didn't consider them contenders.
Yep.
I tell you what, guys,
draw really well.
Yeah, she's a great draw player.
The team has come a long ways though over the last even year since the last nationals. That they made the playoffs in Duluth, they made the playoffs in St. Paul, and they beat Courtney and Eileen down in St. Paul, I believe too. Right. But the team is a lot more well-rounded than they were before. Kim is a more well-rounded skip, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them beat any of the 3 teams we already mentioned. And both of the 2 young teams, you always expect that they can catch lightning in a bottle too,
sure,
and beat one of the top teams because the talent is there, and sometimes the blissful ignorance can help you in that situation.
Giroux and Johnson,
yeah.
Right on. Cool.
I got to see both of them play extensively in the junior nationals when I was doing broadcasting too, and some fearless players there. They're not afraid to mix it up. It's fun to watch.
100%. Men's field, or do you guys have more questions about women's field?
When does it start for women? Do they start Tuesday or do they start Monday?
They start Tuesday. So the men's first draw is Monday night, and the women's is Tuesday morning.
All right.
If I remember correctly.
That sounds right.
That does appear to be the case based on the screenshot on my phone.
How is the forecast looking for next week? Are we going to welcome a bunch of people to negative temperatures in Duluth? Or
it's actually warming up on Saturday, and we got highs in the 20s and 30s all week long.
That's nice.
Regular heat wave up there.
It doesn't even feel like Duluth.
It was 20. Yeah, it was 20 below 2 days ago when I got, or 3 days ago when I got back from Guelph. So, yeah, it feels like calm right now at 0 degrees. And then when it gets to the 20s, it's going to be short sleeves and stuff like that.
There you go.
Jorts as far as the eye can see.
There you go.
Jorts and mullets, baby. Let's take a quick time out from
the
nationals and talk about the Slam broadcasting.
Okay.
Sure.
Love that.
How'd you get into this? Why did they call you?
Why'd they call you? Why do good things happen to bad people?
Yeah, you just stumble into it. Actually, it was at Congress in Montreal in September that I met Nick Solsky, the leader, we call him president, CEO, I guess, of the curling group. But just got to chatting about curling, and they were looking for another broadcaster. I think it came up actually through maybe Dean Gemmel had been talking with him and said, yeah, Tyler has been doing broadcasting for us, and some mutual contacts were able to work that out, and kind of just went on word of mouth that thought that I could get the job done. And it's been a lot of fun. It's they kind of just give you the headset and say, go do what you do. There's not a lot of formatting or stuff like that. The home team network company that's been doing the streaming and running the feed has done a really good job too. And it's just been really fun to do the slams. I mean, you don't get a bad game. It's the top 16 teams in the world on the men's and women's side. So you're always calling high level matchups, and getting to work with Brent Lang and John Cullen, and now Chelsea Carey was hired for this last one as well. It's good rapport with the group. We bring in players to do guest spots too, but yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of just happy to get paid to do, because it's staying involved in the sport, and you get these matchups of some of the all-time great teams that you you get to feel like a fan in the middle of it too. And yeah, it's been a blast.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like in some small way, the whole couch game commentary was really kind of a ripoff of our Madtown Double Down commentary.
I 100% told
where
John
there
Cullen
is just very little talk about curling.
I missed this part.
I told John Cullen 100% the same thing. I was like, this is exactly what we do on Saturday night at the Madtown Double Down.
It's what I do every game at the Madtown Double Down. But, like, you know, we might give the occasional, like, glimpse over to the game and what's happening, but it's mostly just a couple of people drinking beer and chit-chatting about random stuff.
Telling stories.
While there's a curling game on in the background.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it in any way. I think it's great. And I would rather watch that most of the time than, like, actual commentary on a game.
That's kind of what we were thinking for the Madtown Double Down. That's what I was kind of going for. Like, who's watching curling streaming on the internet? Curlers.
Yeah.
They know what's happening in the game. Just entertain.
Yeah. The couch curling stuff it's for a very specific crowd, and you know there are some that prefer the more traditional broadcast, but there's a advisory on that one for a reason. They actually put that on the site, but I think they do a really good job of entertaining all fans. You know, even the non-curling fan could stumble into like the couch curling type of thing and be entertained by that. And if you're the regular curling fan, the base curling fan, I think what they're looking for is somewhere in between what you get like from World Curling's broadcasts and the couch curling stuff, because we're still trying to entertain and make it a little more lighthearted, like even when we're doing standard broadcasts for that. And, you know, if you've listened to any of that, you know, Brent is very good at pushing the envelope a little bit, and because he knows these players and he can get away with a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't. But it's fun to have somebody like that to work with. And he's such a great curling mind too. I mean, when you can entertain, but still analyze and explain what's going on to the viewer, I think that's the sweet spot that we're trying to look for. You know, you're going to get the stories, you're going to get the comedy, but we're still going to give you the best analysis that we can, you know, and we have 4 people that are able to do that at a very high level. And that's, I think that's been the most fun part about it for me, is working with people that are that smart about curling. So, I mean, you get into these ends and these situations where you're going 4 or 5 shots ahead and you're almost like jumping over each other, like to say what you're seeing. And we get a lot of that with the guests that come up in the booth too, that they're really excited to go up and give you top level analysis. We've had Nicholas Edin and Mike McEwen, Kerry Anderson, you know, some of the top players in the world coming up and doing these games too. And it's it mixes things up a little bit. The fans are excited to hear from the other top players as well, and you get really good insight into what the conditions are like and what to expect from the ice and things like that from people that are actually playing in the tournament. But yeah, I've had a blast doing it. I hope to continue to do it for years to come, and as long as the slams continue to be successful like they have this year, then I think we could expect that.
Is this broadcast over the air up there or just online?
It's just streamed.
Okay.
So they still have the standard Sportsnet broadcasts that start Thursday afternoon, but we start with the streaming right from the first game, and we call at least one game per draw. Now that we have Chelsea, sometimes 2. So, I mean, and all the games are streamed. We just have 1 or 2 with commentary. So we now have the ability, wherever you're at in the world, to watch every single game of the Grand Slams, which is awesome for fans, obviously. I mean, if there's a single tournament that outside of our Worlds and Olympics and everything that you want to be able to watch every game, it's the Slams, because you're going to get all the top teams all the time.
Agreed. I love it. It's great.
Yep.
The only downside is I can't cast it from my phone to the TV.
They are
But
working on an app.
I understand why. Because
Yeah,
they want to figure out how to make some money at some point. So
yeah, they are working on an app too. So hopefully that will be finalized, maybe by the time we get to the Players Championship. But yeah, for next season, I would expect that to be a thing for sure. But it's in the works. I know they were experimenting with it in Guelph this last week, so it's hopefully close.
is the Players in Toronto again?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're doing an all-star skills competition type thing in Nashville in May as well. So it's not technically a slam, but it is another event that the curling group is running. And you can actually go on to the Grand Slam Curling's app or the website and vote on who you want to see in the games. So
what if we all voted for you? Do you think
you have to write it in? I am not an option. Maybe it's like a secret character you can unlock. I don't know.
Ooh.
But essentially, it's all the players that have played in the slams this year. You can select from.
Should we vote for Hambo in a bunch, or would that give him too big a head? Probably give him too big a head. Huh?
If that's what you want, that's what you want, then that's what you do.
I'd rather see Ty.
I'd rather see Ty as well.
I think.
Yeah.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is there a broken knee emoji that we can put in there for Craig? Like,
yeah.
It's feeling pretty good this year, though.
Is it? That's good.
I'm gonna vote for Landsteiner 1,000,000 times.
All right.
That you can do.
1,000,000 times I'm gonna vote for John Landsteiner.
Yeah.
Any more slam stuff you want to talk about?
Not a lot. I mean, I just want to praise the curling group for doing what they've done with the events this year, bringing it like more to a fan-friendly experience, trying to bring in the non-curler, but still catering to the traditional crowd at the same time. Like we've seen some fantastic developments in the popularity of the slams. Obviously, anytime you have it in Newfoundland, you're going to have insane crowds, and we did the entire week up there. But they've done really well in all the events so far this season with drawing crowds and the après curl that they do with the patch type atmosphere, the Grand Slam karaoke with the players competing. There's just so many things that they're doing that are, making it an experience as opposed to just the top teams are playing, so you should want to see them, which is enough for some of us. But there are fans that are showing up to these events now and sticking around till late at night because they want to be there. They want to be part of the experience. And as a sport, we haven't done enough of that. And this group it's the first group that I've worked with that's come into the sport that wanted to change things, but is listening to the players on how to do it at the same time. As most of the groups that have come in are the people that think that they're saviors for the sport. They don't take player input or they don't get it from the right places. And Nick and his team have really done a great job of listening to how they can produce these events with input from the players and making stars out of the players too. The Grand Slam karaoke it's a fun entertainment thing, but make no mistake, like this is a marketing thing for the players too. And Isabella Rana, who has done some broadcasting with us, said that she picked up multiple sponsors because of her karaoke performance. So, wow. I mean, these are things that we need to do.
I need to hear more about it. Like,
Is
legit, go ahead and attack people if you need to. Who's good? Who's bad? Who's obviously everybody's got enough guts to get up there and do it. And so nothing can, but that doesn't mean that you can't tell them, say out loud, or even on this podcast that tens of people will listen to, how horrible somebody is.
I'll be honest, Craig, I've spent almost no time at the karaoke competitions because by the time I get to that point in the week, I just want to sleep forever. And I haven't really attended enough to tell you who's good and who's not. It's just word of mouth for me. But Isabella did really well. I know Colin and Chris had a good performance with Rachel Homan rapping. They actually won the title doing No Diggity by Blackstreet.
Yeah, Theron showed up to league on Monday with his belt.
Yep. Mattia from Italy, fantastic performer too. Team Dropkin had a whole like choreographed performance with dancing and singing for the last one. Like teams are really putting like time and effort into this thing. Anna Hasselborg just won the last one. She sang and played guitar. So she won the slam and the karaoke, which I believe is the first time has happened of the 4 events this year. So that's big week for Anna.
So are there, like, is this traditional karaoke where you're looking at a screen with the words, or is there like a band playing the music, or what am I seeing here?
It depends on the act. Like there's been musicians on stage with people singing. The athletes have played instruments themselves. For the most, I don't think that they're really using a screen, but they're just kind of performing off their own songs that they know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a really fun thing for the players to do something different while they're playing in the most competitive atmosphere possible, and it's been great for the fans to see the players in that light too. And like I said, the marketing side of things for the sports, I mean, that's just one of many things that the curling group has tweaked with the slams to make it a more fan-friendly experience.
That's great. Love it.
Should be called curleroke.
Curleroke? I don't know. I gotta try and get to one and see the whole shebang. I have so much free time to travel, but
correct.
I gotta try.
Now you get one more try. Although I would expect they'll probably do karaoke in Nashville too in May. The Players Championship in Toronto in April will be the last slam opportunity to see the teams compete on stage and on the ice.
Okay. Men's nationals.
Men's national
nationals. Here's my
men's nationals.
Here's my hot question. Is this John Schuster's last nationals?
Are you asking for insider information?
No, I'm just asking what you think. I mean, you might know, so I guess maybe you can.
I don't. I'll tell you now. I don't know. John has not told me.
Okay.
A couple of the other guys have announced that they'll be done after this run already, but that's public information with Steiner and Plies. Although guys change their minds, so you never know.
Right.
But with John, it's tough to say. I really think it's 50-50 because his priorities in life have shifted. Not that he's any less competitive, but I don't think he needs it anymore. That he's happy with watching his kids play and compete in other sports, and as he should be. He's got a lot to occupy his time just in life other than the curling side of things. And when that shifts for people, then some of them are lifers that just want to play forever anyways, and some of them it's like, I want to spend more time with my family, and this doesn't have as much meaning to me. But the one thing I can tell you is history means a lot to John. To get to his 6th Olympics, would it be now? I believe.
Yes.
Going back to 06.
If he would win the trials, yes.
Yeah, that would. I don't know if that would make him want to do it again less or more.
Got it.
Because if he gets a chance to do 7, I think that would make him the most not decorated, but give him the most appearances at the Winter Olympics for any athlete. So that's the type of stuff that he's shooting for. And I mean, I could see him winning this one and saying, I want 7 and trying to go back again. His game hasn't deteriorated to the point where he should think that wouldn't be an option too, especially at the skip position. But yeah, I think it's 50-50, Mike. Honestly, I don't have any insight one way or the other. And if he told me, I probably wouldn't tell you guys anyways. But I do not have that information. I can tell you that. So we'll see.
Got it.
Well, if it keeps going, I could see a bunch of other teams breaking up because he's going to pull in. Yeah, probably whichever player you want.
I think he's pulling in new players if he makes another run at it. But who knows? I was just curious what you thought. So.
Yeah,
there's no way this is going to be his last nationals.
You think he'll do what Team George is doing? Team George Sormanen?
Yeah, but something. I mean, like, he might not play for a year
George
or two,
Sorman
but
and
then he'll
Olsen.
sign up again, and he'll, at some point, he will be able to qualify and play in another national.
Play another one. Got it.
For sure.
Well, Ty, we
probably several, but
we look forward to your glorious return to the ice in the next quad.
Yeah.
At House of Hearts, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll be there this year. And Craig.
I actually might. I'm signed on for Lupus in Pencil right now, as long as make the dates work. So that'd be a fun one to get back to. It's been a few years, so
there you go.
I've heard that one's a good time.
All right, so
I have as well. I've done it with you, so I know it's a good time.
I think with Nationals, Corey has been nipping at John's heels for a few years now. Do you think he can do it this year? Do you think Schuster stays at the top? Or do you think it's somebody that we don't know is going to win? I mean, not that we don't know or don't expect.
I mean, the first question is, can he do it? The answer is yes. I mean, this team is talented enough to do it. The lineup switch is interesting with Tom playing third now.
Yeah.
It's had decent results so far. They made the playoffs in the last slam, which is a great week for them. Corey still is.
Timeout. Is Tom throwing third?
Tom is throwing third, yes.
Is he also holding the broom for Corey, or is he sweeping?
I believe I want to say Fenner held the broom.
Well, Fenner's had some injury issues. Is that why he was holding the broom?
So I think that could be. I don't know if that's why he was in there, if that's going to switch or not. So I'm pretty sure, if I remember, at the lineup in Guelph was Corey skipping and throwing last, Tom throwing third but sweeping, Fenner playing second and vicing, and Stapera just playing straight up lead, if I remember right. So it's a little bit of a jumble. But yeah, the team is talented enough to win, and I mean we've said this multiple times. I don't think it's any secret that Corey, he's got a national title, but he wants one where he beats John. He wants one where they play in the final and he beats him, because that exercises a lot of demons for him, and it would be huge before the trials to do that. So I think the win is really important for both of those two teams. If John can win again, then he's still got his stake claimed for being the front runner, the champion, until he's beaten. If Corey can beat him, not only has he taken that from John, but now he's got that sense, like, in his mind when he plays, if they play in the trials final, I beat this guy in a final already. Like, I've done it. And that makes a huge difference, because he's lost a few of them to him. And I can tell you, as somebody who's lost a few finals, like, winning one, especially against the team that you just haven't found a way to beat, you can't get over the hump against them.
Yeah.
It changes everything about your mentality going in. As much as you'd like to say you're not thinking about it, you are. And so it's important for John to keep Corey from getting that sense of confidence by winning here. And it's every bit as important for Corey to take that away from him. But, I mean, then you have Team Casper with, they've been in the national final already as well within the last couple of years. And that's a team that it wouldn't surprise me at all if they won the whole thing too, just because they've shown an ability to beat those other teams.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a tough pick this year, man. I think the women's and men's sides both have three teams that are fairly tightly packed. They both have a favorite based on past performance. They both have a number 2 seed that has been knocking at the door for the last however many years. And they both have a 3 seed that is the kind of the dark horse contender, but has the pedigree and has had results against these teams, for very opposite reasons. For Casper, they're up and coming and still getting better, a young squad, but they've beaten John, they've beaten Corey. And on the women's side with Courtney and Eileen, it's a team that's going out there with nothing to lose. And they have the old school pedigree, but they've had all the success recently on tour against these other teams too. So that's the one thing that team has that the others don't, is they've gotten the wins against the other teams in that top group. But you go down the field, and again, like it's not that it's a 3-team field. I think you just kind of, there's a dividing line, I think, after the top 3 on both sides of the teams you'd consider to be top contenders. But it's 8 deep on both sides of teams that can win and make the playoffs. And you have to be happy from a USA curling fan standpoint that we have that type of talent, maybe not for world medals, but to at least contend and win games to get to the playoffs in a national championship.
Yeah, I think this year it's going to be, I think John's going to be extra focused. Home crowd, he's going to want the win in front of the home crowd. I think John's going to be hard to beat. And I don't think Corey's got the mental edge yet. They got enough talent, but I don't think Corey has it yet to beat John.
Yeah, I think that's why this Nationals is so important, because you don't want the first time to have to be at the trials. You want to beat him in that title game before you get there. So right. It's for mental reasons, for that edge, it's probably the most important Nationals Corey's ever played, from my standpoint. If he can win this one, I think his odds of winning the trials go up dramatically if he's got this Nationals in his back pocket.
And the trials are going to be December? Is that right?
November.
November.
Yep.
And so from Nationals till now, there's going to be, they maybe meet again in a slam or two?
It's possible, yeah.
Possible, but
could happen.
This could be their only games until then.
It's entirely possible,
yeah. What's Danny's situation right now? Is he playing most of the time, some of the time?
He's been playing most of the time right now. His condition, they've figured out enough with it that they're able to treat it a little bit better than they have been. You feel for him, because there's still a lot of questions for him, like about how long it's going to take to recover from this stuff. But he's been out there more in the last few months. So hopefully that continues. I mean, we're all wishing the best for him. But yeah, obviously his health will have a large bearing on what that team is able to do at the Nationals and going forward into the trials. But at the very least, I think he's more optimistic about his ability to put the time in to prepare himself to be at his best at the Nationals and then in the trials in the fall.
They have Rich as their 5th. Does he skip if Danny can't go, or do they really juggle a lineup around? Or do you not know?
I think he's calling the house at the least. I don't know if he's throwing last too.
Sure.
The last
you have
time,
Luke on the squad, so you got somebody that has thrown last rocks.
Sure.
The last time I saw them on a stream, Richie was playing, and he was throwing front end, and then calling it.
Okay.
But I don't know.
That makes sense.
I don't know if that's always the case, or if sometimes he throws third.
Sure.
But he was definitely calling the game and definitely not throwing the brick.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, they've got some good players on that team. Right on. You think, there's myriad stories in all of those lineups. So it'll be interesting to see it all shake out.
Yeah, it's
looking forward to it.
Pretty much everybody in the field on the men's side, and mostly on the women's side too, has national experience. So these other names, you got Hodick, Wendling, Sinnott, Dunham, Sampson, like all these teams have been touring. All of them have had success against the other teams in the field. It's going to be a really competitive tournament. I think it's probably our most competitive nationals that we've had in years. Since we were playing, Craig, obviously.
Absolutely.
We go back that far. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Are the sheep going to be back this year?
If anybody brought them out from New Jersey, it's possible. Yeah, I don't have any in my living room or my trunk.
Tell Dean to stop by the mall on the way and grab a couple.
It would not surprise me at all if one of them showed up.
Someone did have one at House of Hearts. They auctioned one off.
Yep.
Last year at House of Hearts. Someone does have a sheep out there somewhere.
These are not real sheep, folks. For those that are listening,
they're
plastic sheep.
They're plastic sheep.
They're entertaining.
It'd be a lot cooler if they were real sheep walking around on the backboards.
Like you go play Whistling Straits and they bring the sheep out.
Yeah.
To maintain the course. Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Okay, tell us about the fact that you live in a former speakeasy.
Well, the basement is pretty much one. I would like to think that it actually was a speakeasy. Now, if you live in Duluth, you're aware that up until maybe a decade ago, somewhere in there, a little longer, that anything east of 27th Avenue, you couldn't sell liquor, or there were no bars. And I'm out in 60th East, so I'm way at the east end of the town, and my basement bar looks like a speakeasy bar. So I think it's entirely possible that it was used for that purpose a long time ago.
When did you buy the house?
When did I buy it? May of 2020, 2 months into COVID, basically.
Okay. Huh. I love it.
Does it have taps?
No. It's got like sinks that you would see at a bar, like to wash dishes and things like that. There are no taps, but there's like a full layout for glasses behind. I think there's like a gun that you can use, like for if it was attached, like to do soda and water and stuff like that too. Ooh. But yeah, there's a little cooler built into it too that you can use, like put beers in. So it looks like a bar. Like it's got booths and things like that too. So it's something.
East of, what'd you say, 21st?
27th.
27th.
Yep.
I'm looking at a map here. I'm trying to figure out how far east we are. All right.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. I got it.
I'm right at the edge of town, Craig. If you take the last left before that, the expressway starts basically. Then 3 blocks up the hill, that's me. I'm right by the river.
Man. I got you. I see it.
It's a cool spot.
Amity Creek.
Right in that area.
Yeah. All right.
If you can make it to Tyler George's house, 90% off your purchase at George's Liquor.
Yeah, I got the expensive stuff here too.
Just mention the use the promotion code Curling Nation when you knock on his door, and then
yeah. If you don't think I'm going to be advertising on my own during the week, that's part of the gig. We'll come up with some more good ones for Steve's curling supplies. Yeah, Smitty and I had a million of them.
Smitty,
Craig's going to get all these orders. Like, what is this promotion code?
Maybe I'll throw in a surprise one or two,
like
throughout the week. It'll just be like the Wednesday morning draw. There'll be some special, like, amazing deal that's only good until noon.
Oh, do it.
If you text me to read something like that during the games, I will 100% do it.
All right.
What if I text you?
Something to offer for Craig, then I will 100% do
it. It might not be valid, but all right. Yeah, I'll come up with some funny coupon code that's only good for like 2 hours, and they have to have the special like secret message.
I'm going to tell people that, like, in the first draw or two, like, you never know when we're going to drop a crazy deal for Steve's curling supplies.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to tune in to every draw.
I love that.
You can tell them that for sure. At least once during the week, there is going to be a special bonus deal that's going to happen, and it's going to be
but you have to do it.
I will.
Because if you don't, then I'm going to make one up, and we're going to say that it came from you.
I will do something.
Okay. Just be warned. Like, you better do it.
I will. That's fair. I get it. I don't want to make a liar out of you, so.
No, and we have it here on the podcast, too. Like, if people question whether or not I have the authority to do it, I mean,
So-
we confirmed it here. So
Well-
This is gonna be on the internet. It has to be true.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
All right. There will be some
there'll be some
crazy
promotional
ass
code.
blowout
Yeah.
promotion
Yeah,
that's good for like 2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah, love it.
buy 2 shoes, get a third one free.
Something like that. Buy 2 gripper shoes, get a slider shoe. I don't know. We'll see.
Spend $500 to get something off the wall.
Oh, maybe.
Wow. Dude, I'm spending $500 and getting the cow picture.
No,
That's
you don't
what I
get the
want.
cow picture. That's not for sale. All right, we'll figure something out. What else should we talk to Ty about? It's not. I mean,
know.
I was
You're
gonna
good.
say it's not every day we have a gold medalist on, but this is
This
the
is-
3rd consecutive show that we've had a gold medalist on.
That's true.
So
Who were the last 2?
Kevin and John.
We had
Yeah, Kevin Martin,
Yeah.
John Schuster. Sorry,
Schuster.
it's Schuster.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, it's a
finally
murderer's
broke.
row.
We finally broke down
Yeah.
and got John on.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
figured it was time.
Yeah,
After
he's a good guest.
5 years.
The gag had run long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And it's gonna run. And it's
I
gonna
don't-
run for
I don't
another
know.
couple
I don't
years.
think we
yet,
have
so.
anything. He answered the questions. We talked
broom
football. and curling
stuff.
and curling.
Oh, we didn't talk about any of the broom stuff.
There's the broom
Yeah. Well,
bullshit happening.
yeah.
now.
You're.
Yep.
So
I have
we'll
not been tuned
gotta
in
be
at
addressed.
all to this.
We'll talk about it quick. You just fill everybody in. You are the chair of the Athletes Advisory Council. Is that right?
Is this for U.S.
I
or
am the
world?
chair. No, for World Curling, I am the chair of the Athlete Commission. So
Athlete
we have
Commission.
10 members.
Got it.
Yep, 10 members. We have
Quick,
2
name 'em
men's,
all.
2 women's. Okay. The 2 men's reps are myself and Benoit Schwartz from Switzerland. The 2 women's are Annalena Jensch from Germany, House of Hearts legend as well,
Yep.
and Eve Muirhead from Scotland. The 2 mixed doubles are Kristen Skaslian from Norway, the Olympic medalist,
Mhm.
and Harry Lill from Estonia, the reigning world mixed doubles silver medalist.
Yep.
And our para reps are Kalinda Joseph from Canada and Runa Lorentzen, who has won basically everything there is to win in para from Norway. And the points top 25 reps are Chelsea Carey from Canada and Matt Dunstone from Canada. So there you go. And myself, that's 10.
All right.
Wow. Good job. Way to name drop
Thanks.
all those names.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So we got some heavy hitters in this group, man. I tell you what, it's there's a lot of accomplished players, but it's a good thing because it carries a lot of weight. Then when you have athlete reps that have competed and won at the highest levels, then I think it helps have a little faith in the people that are your advocates, which is what we are. Our commission doesn't exist to put our own opinions out there or make decisions as much as to be the spokespeople and advocates for the athletes. And when there's issues like with the broom situation going on now, we've tried to collaborate with them as much as we possibly can to represent the most athletes we can. And really, it doesn't matter if whatever is brought to the commission, like if we agree with it or not. It's all about, is this what the athletes want? Or are these legitimate athlete concerns that need to be represented? And at this last Congress, for the first time, it was approved by the General Assembly and the board to have the Athlete Commission chair be a voting member on the board of directors. So we had a seat on the board for the previous year when Jill Officer was the chair. That was the first time that an Athlete Commission member had been on the board, but it was a non-voting seat.
Mm-hmm.
And just this last Congress in Montreal, it was approved to have the Athlete Commission chair as a voting member. So now my vote when I sit in that seat is essentially the athlete vote. So I'm taking into account what would best represent the athletes when these things come up. But I also understand that I have a fiduciary duty to the sport and to the board. If there's something that is in the best interest of the sport long term, but maybe it would be in the best interest of the athlete short term, you have to take that into consideration. But the vast majority of the time, it's just, how am I going to best represent the athletes in that position? So when these things happen, like with the brooms, again, we're dealing with, it's talking to them about what are you seeing? What do you want to happen? What do you want me to represent both to the athlete commission and to the board of directors? So when these things come up, I can tell them I spoke with Mike McEwen, I spoke with Rachel Homan, I spoke with Nicholas Edin. This is how the players are feeling about this. And the more united they are on these things, the easier it is to represent their interests. Because if you have different athletes saying different things, then it's a tough thing to sit in that seat and try to best represent the overall interests of the elite athletes. So it's an interesting position. It's been very gratifying when we're able to get things done to help the athletes. And really, we hope that they use us more in the future in that respect, so that they don't have to concern themselves with the off-ice issues, so they can just compete and know that we're speaking on their behalf, as long as they let us know, what is it you need from us. And as taxing as this broom situation has been, it's been a good thing in that there's been a really good dialogue between the athlete commission and the athletes themselves.
Got it. So can you give us like the Cliff Notes, the too long didn't read Broomgate 2.0 version of what's going on right now with the brooms?
I can boil it down the best I can and try to keep it short, but essentially there are parameters that equipment needs to fit within for world curling to be legal to use in major competitions. And part of that is the foam and the density of the foam that goes into the broom heads. So these are measured by World Curling to see if they fit within specifications. We won't go into the ins and outs of the numbers and all that stuff,
sure.
But there have been some foams that have been released on the market recently that the players felt were, or the majority of players, I should say, this does not speak for everybody, felt that they were too firm and had too much effect on the shot, and that sweeping was becoming too important again. Now, this isn't the directional stuff that we saw in 2015, 2016, or the hair brooms or anything like that. This is more about being able to carry a rock farther. And with some of the products, and I'm not going to go into specifics on which ones
fine.
here either,
yeah.
But some of them, the players have found, they believe the top men's teams have tried these out in their own time and been able to carry a rock an extra 3 to 6 feet, which is a significant amount, obviously. So directionally speaking, again, we're not seeing anything really dramatic, but the majority of players that we've spoken with as the athlete commission have said that they don't think that some of these foams should be used in top competition. And at this previous slam, they all agreed to not use certain products, and this puts a few teams in a tough spot because it was what they were currently using. But nobody was doing anything illegal. I want to make that clear. All this was, the players talking to the players, and nobody was using any equipment that wasn't deemed within the regulations that World Curling had set. So now the players have asked, or a group of players, I think 20 some top teams have signed their names onto a request for World Curling to do something about the situation with regard to removing certain foams from play. And it's a difficult position for World Curling because these things have fallen within the parameters of what they set. So they would have to invoke a clause that says that if there's something that is materially affecting competitions or the ice conditions or anything like that, that they do have the authority to do something. But it's a difficult legal stance because the manufacturers obviously have been trying to create equipment that is deemed legal, that is the most effective. That's their job. If they're able to do that, then teams are going to use their equipment, plain and simple.
Sure.
But the players are saying that they think that it's gone too far, even though the regulations have been fulfilled. So
is this new foam that came out, or is this and has the foam been regulated before, or before was it just the fabric, and then you couldn't have the insert anymore And did the back in Broomgate 1.0, did they look at the foam, or has the foam not been a part of the regs yet?
I think the foam was always a part of it, but it wasn't something that they were looking at as closely as the fabric of the pads themselves. Now, I want to also side note here say I am very uneducated when it comes to this stuff, and I've been listening to people that are a lot smarter than I am when it comes to what these foams do, what the fabric of the pads do, things like that. Mm. And the density of the foam stuff, it was new to me. I can tell you that. Like when this became an issue of the foams being something that are making the brooms too effective, or in the player's eyes too effective. So yeah, I think this side of it with broom issues is relatively new. It's always an arms race, you know, where the fabric was the issue before. Now they're shifting over to something else because that's where you can get that edge, is from having these firmer foams. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, where it goes from here is tough to say. The players and World Curling and the Athlete Commission are all going to be discussing this going forward. And I think any long-term decisions are going to be more off-season stuff. But we did testing in Guelph because we had arena ice, we had championship level conditions, we had the top players in the world there, where we tested these things out. We recorded it. We only had a very brief period of time to do it, so it was not an exhaustive thing like a sweeping summit or anything like that. But it's a step, and it's something that everybody was able to view. You know, all the teams, a lot of the teams sent representatives to watch the testing, and I was able to monitor it as an impartial, I don't know, witness, if you want to call it that, as chair of the Athlete Commission. We had Victor Schell, national team coach for Canada, and Greg Drummond, national team coach from Great Britain, both in attendance, helping record these things as well. So, you know, it was an impartial thing where we could have everybody involved that wanted to be a part of it, and invited teams that were sponsored by all the major suppliers to attend as well, and had 3 of the top sweepers in the world doing the sweeping. So we could monitor different shots with Bendik Ramsfell from Team Ramsfell, Bobby Lammy from Scotland, and Pablo Lechacushpin from Switzerland. So 3 heavy hitters that's, you know, different sweeping styles, but we were able to get some different results. But again, it was such a short period of time we had. Just wanted to do something where we had arena ice, because teams are doing their own testing in curling clubs and doing it with different environments and different conditions, and it's tough to replicate arena ice in a curling club. So it's all valuable stuff. We're gathering as much data as we can, and from our side of things with the Athlete Commission, it's just we're trying to get as much of a consensus from the players as we can about what they think we need to do, what steps could possibly be taken, asking World Curling what they can do, and then going forward, if we do end up scaling things back, how far back are we going? Are we going last year to the foams that we had out on the market? Are we going back to 21 when they were different? Mm-hmm. Where is that line? And you know, it's not anything that's going to change like in the long run with brooms. The arms race is always going to continue. The companies are always going to be looking for the edge. But you know, maybe it's something where we go to a uniform foam like we did with the fabric, where all the foams are the same inside the brooms too. I don't know that the players would have much issue with that from conversations we've had. Can't say for certain, but I can tell you that the stuff that's out on the market now, we didn't have any questions about it really until the last 6 months, I guess, from what we've been hearing from players. But yeah, it's really going to be about finding where that line is and what the players think is acceptable. And you know, they've tried to make it as clear as they can. And I guess that we have to believe them on this, that this is not about teams having an edge because of their equipment. It's about how effective they believe that sweeping should be and how important shooting should still be.
Interesting.
So, like we know that it was, you know, released by World Curling that the former testing facility kind of fell down on the job, is how I would phrase it, where they kind of fabrics were allowed into play last year, or maybe for a couple years, that shouldn't have been. Uh, and so that's why they kind of moved this guideline to where they did for this year. And now we've got a reputable, solid testing company doing work for World Curling. But what is the, like, in the manufacturing process, there's a lot more variability than most people think. And like,
Sure.
you get a batch of 100 of them, and you can probably divide them into about 5 categories, even with your fingers, squeezing them. Like, this group over here is definitely harder than this group, which is harder than this group, which is harder than this group,
Yeah.
And I think that some foams, and this is probably why the ones we're getting through in the past, and why, because it wasn't accounted for that there was as much variability per production run as there actually is. What is the plan, or is there a plan from World Curling if people show up regardless of which company product they're using, and they've got something that falls outside of the parameters? Like, are they going to be forced to take that out and replace it with one that falls in the parameters? Are they going to be disqualified? Like, is there a plan?
I don't know that they have the resources to test on site for all their competitions at this point. So if a team ordered, let's say hypothetically, foams or heads from a company that had been approved in the past, but like you said, Craig, if there's some kind of variance in the density of the foam that would put it out of specs, then I'm not sure if there is anything that they'll be able to do on site at these events. I know USA Curling was looking to do their own testing at nationals, but they couldn't get a company in this shorter period of time from the ones that they had asked that they felt could do what they needed them to do. So I think you might see that in the future, maybe on-site testing of these things. But yeah, I'm not sure there is an answer there. I mean, if as of now, they're basically going on the testing that they did with whichever foams they were supplied. And if there are other ones that have enough of a variance from what they normally would be, then, I mean, they're not testing every single foam that comes out right now. So you, as a supplier, are aware of these things probably more than most, that, maybe there needs to be more of a discussion on that too, because that hasn't been a major topic of conversation on World Curling side that I'm aware of, that they're aware of variance within orders of foams, even from ones that are supposed to be identical. Yeah. So that's a good question. I don't have an answer for that, Craig. And I would think that that's definitely something that they're going to be addressing. They have an equipment commission as well on World Curling side. I got to sit in on one of their meetings the other day, which was great to be able to see where they're at with all this stuff too. But yeah, it's my hope when I'm taking my athlete commission hat off here and just my personal opinion on things. I hope that if the players can come to some sort of agreement on where they think this should be scaled back to, that we go to a uniform foam, because it's the simplest way to do it. It puts everybody on the same level playing field. I don't think the manufacturers would be all that happy about it, because that's another way that they're not able to try to get an edge over each other.
Sure.
So, if the fabrics are the same and the foams are the same, then it's going to come down to, well, the construction of the head itself. What is it that's going to give you more of an edge? Why would somebody buy our equipment over another one.
Right.
And for the manufacturers right now that have been trying to put out the best possible product they can before the deadline of January 1st, which was when all things had to be submitted for this upcoming Olympics. They really wanted to have their best stuff out there by the end of 2024. And again, in an open market, you got to feel for the companies that were able to put something out that was within the regulations and that would give their teams an edge if it was better or more effective equipment. But we're hearing just way too many players saying that it's gone too far. So it's going to be that conversation isn't going to end anytime soon. And trust me, I've had a lot of those conversations over the last however many weeks. But the one thing I can say that I'm fairly sure on is that if you're talking about what the majority of players are asking for in this situation, it's that they don't want these more effective foams on the market and they want things scaled back. So shooting is more important again.
Got it. Yeah, go ahead. No. I just like my concern. I don't know if it's a concern or what. Like just my observation as somebody who deals with these things, is there is variability, and if company X sends in 5 foams to be tested, if they, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they just grabbed 5 random foams out of their sample of 100 and sent them in.
Yeah.
But if play to be the conspiracy theorist person, a company could have sent in, they could have gone through their 100 foams and found their 5 softest ones and sent those in, and those were the ones that are approved, and that could have been happening for.
Do you think you have broom heads right now in your store that you pick up 5 ones of the same manufacturer, same model? Or does the foam, do you know if the foam feels different?
Yeah. 100%. I can feel differences in foam from one to the next at my store.
Craig's like the Rain Man of foam.
From I probably every
you could have stopped after the words Rain Man.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting though, Craig, because I mean it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. That if there's a possibility that these things are coming in not in a uniform way, like for any particular brand,
it could be no fault of manufacturer.
For sure.
That's the boxes stuff that they got in from China.
Yeah, 100%.
Gold star for you, Craig.
And from the player side too, the concern for me would be, as an athlete representative, let's say they purchase or were supplied with as a sponsored team a broom or a foam that is supposed to be within regulations based on testing that World Curling has done, but there's enough variance and they're doing on-site testing that the foam doesn't pass, that it's through no fault of the players. They weren't trying to use illegal equipment.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I agree. They ordered something that
too.
They were told was fine.
Right.
And now
that's a concern on the athlete side.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's a little bit like the drug testing though. It's as the athlete, you are responsible for everything that you eat, everything that you take, if you and
everything that goes into your body.
Everything that goes into your body. In theory, do we have to go to a point where the athlete is also responsible to know that this foam that they're using,
that their equipment,
even though they were told it was fine, isn't? Maybe.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of the teams would even know how to do that too, Craig.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
I just learned like a week ago.
I think it's something where you have to come up with some sort of testing. I mean, you look at like The thing I could compare it to is like a top level softball, where the bats have a certain amount. You can't have a bat where it is lower than a certain amount of compression. You know, it has too much trampoline effect. It just becomes too efficient. You know, it's easier to hit home runs.
Well,
so,
and the testing would have to happen at the beginning of the tournament too,
right.
because when you compete in the Worlds or an Olympics, they take your pad after you play in like the championship games, like the playoff games, and they test it. So like the Olympic final, we had to give them our pads afterwards and then have them like approved.
Yeah.
So
no,
like if you were using something that was illegal and didn't know it, and then found out after the fact, I mean, do you get disqualified for that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, that
sounds
like the worst thing ever. But at the same, you know, it's probably not any worse than somebody who ate a piece of meat, you know, that had some
growth hormone in it,
dopey or masking agent in it because the animal was fed some weird antibiotic, months before it was slaughtered, before it became a meal for this guy, so like it's there's a bunch of horrible
coupon
results.
Code Steve's Curling broom calipers. Gotta have a little feeler gauge to press on the head.
Do you know?
You should sell durometers.
Yeah, there you go.
You're a durometer.
Thank you. Wait, does that mean I'm dense, or you're testing how dense I am?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Impossible. That's both a compliment and an insult on the same.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I'm gonna say thank you.
Is there anything afoot? Do you know for nationals next week that things are accepted, or have you heard?
The teams have been notified that they are taking no action with anything that World Curling has deemed legal to this point. Okay. World Curling has a press release coming out tomorrow that will address this situation as well. I think it's late enough at night here that nobody's hearing this before the press release comes out. No, but they're not going to. Okay. I can tell you that they're not going to be banning anything.
Got it.
So it may fall to the players on if they want to do something with that. Like if the players band together and say that we're not going to use X equipment, then fine. I mean, that's what they've done, but there's not going to be anything enforceable from World Curling's rules side or regulation side, because these things have been approved. Now, whether or not that changes for next season or next quad or whatever happens, it can't change anything for our playdowns right now, but the players are asking for that. So the problem now is that the vast majority of people that are competing in their playdown seasons say that they don't want these things to be involved in competition, and World Curling is saying we need more evidence than we've been given if we're going to make any type of ruling on that, because they've been deemed regulation.
Legal. Yeah,
so just I want everybody to know, for whoever watches this too, that if a team uses this equipment that the players, the majority players again have said they don't want allowed, they're not doing anything outside the rules. They may be going against what the majority of teams think is appropriate or should be legal, but based on World Curling's standards as of now, nobody is using anything that's out of spec, unless, like Craig said, there's something that there's variance in the supplies. Because I have heard, I think from a friend of all of ours, Croy Nurnberger, that he's done his own testing on some of these things, and he thought that he found some of them to be out of regulation based on the density of the foam. So that could be the variance that Craig was talking about too. Not that World Curling is approving things that shouldn't be approved, but that there's enough variance from product to product within the same thing that's put out there, that something might be out of their regulations. So
here's
I would have Croy on to talk about this stuff, because he can tell you way more about it than me.
Here's
None of
another
us are smart.
question.
None of us are smart enough to talk to Croy that long.
Yeah, Croy's too smart for us.
Well, maybe you only have him on for like 10 minutes because it's like that's all our brains can take, Croy.
But
They're
then
small,
he'll trick
they're
us into
useless.
20, and then we'll all feel even dumber. We're not into that around here, Ty.
I'm just gonna sit in the
we
corner.
stick with dumb people that we can relate to.
I see the vacant.
Croy drunk. We gotta get us sober talking to drunk Croy. That way we got an even playing field.
Yeah.
Well, you might need a lot of booze for that.
So.
All right, so wait, I got to follow up.
Okay.
I know that it's things that are commercially available, products that are commercially available for X amount of time. I don't know, 6 months or something like that, prior to an event. Let's just say that's the.
I don't think it's that long. I think it just has to be commercially available before the start of an event.
Okay. So, can you mix and match products from different companies?
So you're asking if you could take a foam from one head and put it into another one?
Yes.
Okay. No, you are not allowed to do that because they haven't cleared. They don't know exactly what the effects different broom heads and shafts will have on different foams. So they are not allowing teams to take foams from one broom and put it into, or from another company, I think, and put it in another one. I'm pretty sure you can take foams, like let's say you're a hardline team and you have two different types of foam, but both are within regulation. You can take your hardline foam out and put in another hardline one because that's what it was designed for. But you can't take a gold line foam
or a
balance
plus foam and stick it in a hardline fabric and connect it to a hardline broom.
Right. And World Curling is doing their own testing on that too, to see what the different effects are of taking the foams and putting them into different heads. And players had even asked that if there is a ruling along the lines of a ban on something, which again, I don't foresee, that affected teams would be allowed to do that to keep the playing field level. If they thought that the company that the foam was coming for did not have a suitable alternative, then they could use something from a different company. That has not been approved by World Curling at this point. But the players have said that if they need a hardship clause or something for teams that use the company whose product might be banned, then they would want that to happen. They want the other teams to be able to do that if that helps get to a point where they could ban something that's currently out there. But I don't think that's going to be a this season thing. And it'll be interesting to see what results come from World Curling's testing on that too, to see if the foams react differently in different broom heads. So,
yeah. All right. That was a question because I have, as a retailer, I have been asked, can I stick that foam from one company into a fabric and connect it to a broom from a different company?
I mean, you can if you're playing leagues, sure,
right.
But you can't do it if you're playing down.
Okay, that was my question. Because I mean, it's all approved parts, but not necessarily in conjunction with one another.
That's correct.
Okay, we got that straightened out.
No Frankenstein broom.
There's so many good questions today.
I'm full of it.
This might be your best podcast.
You know what? If you would ask me any of these questions 10 days ago, I don't know that I'd have an answer for any of them either.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. I'm still very uneducated on the subject. I've just tried to learn what I needed to be able to have these discussions with the players. So it's all new stuff to me. I was as blissfully ignorant as I could possibly be when I played. Like, just give me whatever it is that we're using. Don't tell me why it's more effective, whatever. Just let me play. So now it's been trying to educate myself on the subject enough, at least for the position that we're in right now.
Okay. Do you
but
have...
the good thing, as I said, is that we're nowhere near where we were in 2015, 2016. Like this is not like steering a rock off the sheet or slowing rocks down. We actually saw with one of the foams that when you did a sweep to carve, that it was actually carrying the rock farther, even though it wasn't that effective with the carve. So like it was turning it over a little bit, but nothing drastic. But usually when we see that, it's taking speed off. And with this one, you were still carrying it farther as well. So that was kind of unusual.
Got it.
Do you have any new favorite walk-up song? We'll just like glance over the end of the show questions because we kept you too late.
Oh, that's all right. New walk-up song. Lord Knows by Meek Mill is probably my favorite one now. I actually used that some years back when I was still playing, but I don't know that I ever mentioned it on the show. I know I mentioned 10 a.m. Automatic by the Black Keys. And I know I mentioned The Kid Is Hot Tonight by Loverboy if we're going for something more fun. But if I really like want to get intense and I want to get myself going, then Lord Knows by Meek Mill that's my cut.
Okay. How about if you had to do a karaoke at the Grand Slam? You got a song?
Great question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's a good question. This has come up a few times now because they're trying to get everybody to go up on stage. Oh man, what would I sing? That's a tough call.
Okay, well,
maybe something by Boys to Men. Let's get back to the or New Edition or something.
Oh man,
you know,
I listened to you. You know what?
Do you think you have that range for New Edition?
That depends on the song.
All right.
Oh.
I don't have Tevin Campbell's range. Probably not Bobby Brown's range either. But Johnny Gill or Ralph Tresvant, I think I could probably get. You know, Johnny's got the deeper voice. I think I could roll with that.
Yeah, I can fake deep. Like I would have to go. I think like Waylon.
Yeah. Also, I just named 4 members of New Edition off the top of my head. I'm pretty proud of that.
I'm impressed. Like, so impressed.
Pretty fucked up, Ty.
I look at you and
you were impressed too, though.
A little bit, but I was also a little disappointed.
I look at you, Ty, and I think John Denver. Thank God I'm a country boy. Like that. That's not,
I don't know, man.
No, not your wheelhouse. Got
it's
it.
Not,
right.
I like the song.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd pull that one off though. Maybe something by Garth. If we're gonna do country, I could do Garth.
All right, I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, like standing outside the fire. I think I could drill.
Whoa.
That'd be a good one.
Wow.
Huh.
That'd get the crowd going too. You're giving me ideas now.
All right.
You got a different Bonspiel that you'd like to go to with fictional characters, fictional or real characters?
I mean, I don't really play in spiels at all anymore. I'm trying to think of one like that I never got to go to that would be fun to attend. I've heard the one in Prague is really fun. I've never gotten to do that one, but that might just be because Prague is cool. Yeah. But I haven't been, so I don't know. The fictional ones, I know we did that before, but I know everybody's kind of saying it, but it'd be fun to get the Kelsey brothers out there because they've been talking curling.
They've been,
so I think we need to make that connection pretty quick, and we've got some good resources for it with the football guys that are involved with the curling group too, with Hawkinson and Kittle and Jared Allen. So that seems like that could be an avenue that we could go down too. And
Kelsey brothers,
I think all those guys.
We got a podcast, like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
and all those football guys that we just mentioned, not the Kelseys, but the rest of them, I believe, are going to be involved in the Nashville event in May too.
Can I play on that team? I'd like to play curling with those guys. That would be fun.
Well, maybe if we all every day do our own write-in votes for each other, we could get there.
Yeah.
Now they don't have write-in right now. I requested it, and Langer, of course, asked, "Well, how many times do you want to vote for yourself?" I said, I got some other names I want to put in. So that has nothing to do with me. I don't want to. I want to be team captain. I want to be involved, but you don't need me throwing any rocks.
There you go.
You want to be? I want to be the smallest guy on the team for a change.
It's not that.
That's
great.
a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
it's never happened to me, Craig. It's never happened.
It's not that. Great.
Yeah. What's that like? Craig, have you ever not been? Have you played with anybody smaller?
Yeah, I played with my dad a little bit. And
okay, that's fair.
You know, in some competitive stuff.
Martin's played league with us
in league.
I've played
a lot of times. I've been this year I was the tallest guy in the team, in league. on
on
Friday night
Friday
family
when
league.
you play with your wife, your aunt, and
My
your
wife
son.
and my Aunt Pam, who my Aunt Pam's like 5'1" on her tippy toes.
Yeah.
And
She
then
has
my
more
two
8-enders
kids.
than you, though.
She does have more 8-unders than me. That's true.
More than me, too, but...
All right. Well, I don't have any other questions for Ty, and you already
I
said
don't
that it
either.
is my
Did-
best episode ever, so I should just leave
I
right
would
now.
request that you guys don't write in my name too if we are able to do that, because when I get to do these broadcasts for the slams, if I have even like a sliver of myself that's like, God, it'd be fun to go out there and do that again, then I watch Bruce play and those other teams. It's like, I don't want to fucking be out there with these guys now. I mean, some of the stuff that they made 2 shots this year in slams that were probably for the best in the world. I'm saying, like, for the slam teams, probably a 1 in 7 or 8 if you're being generous. And they're both run-in redirect shots, right? Where you're running a stone, like your opponent's stone, into another opponent's stone, but it has to hit a quarter of the first stone in order to redirect to the third one and then spin out. Bruce made that shot twice. He called clean halfway down the sheet on both of them. Like, you can't be precise enough with a read on a shot that's that precise itself to call clean halfway down. And then and then clean again. And he made both. So, I mean, he was right. But it wasn't even that he made the shot. It was that he had the audacity to call a clean both times. Like, it's just fucking infuriating watching it.
Kids nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's how good they are. It's incredible.
I guess last question. We always give people the opportunity to talk about sponsors. So you want to shout anybody out or anything with all the work that you're doing?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to shout out George's Liquor when you're up here in Duluth for nationals. You know where to go to get your booze.
That's right.
Stop on up to George's up in Kenwood. Still doing promotional events and speaking stuff too. I won't read any like websites or whatever, but you can get me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever for speaking engagement, to learn to curl, stuff like that. Filling in time with those things when I'm not broadcasting or putting the athlete commission chair hat on. But
you got the Tyler George curling? Is that right?
Yeah.
.com?
It's a sweet logo, isn't it? The website is not up and running right now, so you just have to get me through. Facebook's the easiest thing with messages, whatever. And I got a couple people I got to get back to on. I made the mistake with House of Hearts last year for a fundraiser of offering to play in Bonspiels with people that donated $500 under my name, thinking maybe I'd get 1, and I got 3. So actually I had 4 because I think somebody else like wanted to do commentary too, which I think we're trying to accommodate. But so I have to play some spiels in this next year because I wasn't able to do it yet. I haven't had the time, but I got a couple messages waiting for people. If you're watching this somehow, rest assured, we're going to make it happen. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to be probably curling this year more than I have since I retired because of the. Oh God, that's it. Yeah,
that's what you should do. You should take all 3 of those people to Prague.
And say, well, they all have their own teams. I have to play separate events with all.
No. Tell them that this is the way it's going down. We're all going to Prague. We're all going together.
We're all going. I love that idea.
Do you get to skip, or do you have to play like second and sweep?
I don't know. I'd like to call the house. I don't care what position I throw, honest to God. But don't make me sweep is all I ask. You know.
Yeah, we'll get you.
Really don't want to do that.
One of those foams that are too hard.
Yeah, there you go.
If you got to sweep.
That's a good idea. It's I've swept in one event since I retired, and that was the Duluth Cash last year when I played with Team Wendling as their kind of player coach for the weekend, because they were doing a prep event for Worlds, and I'm not going to ask to call the house when Wes is trying to get himself ready to compete to represent the country. So I played third and still called the house then because I was replacing their third for the week. But
there you go.
But that's the only time I've actually swept in the last 6 years.
That's
almost
only
7 years
now.
Now, so.
At least, not too bad.
Yeah, it was 4 too many.
Yeah, but that's also 4 rocks in a row.
Yeah, dude. Come on now.
Dude, I sweep 6 in a row. Leave me alone, all right? I'm not good at anything else. I'm probably not that good at sweeping either. All right.
Well, I'm not good at sweeping.
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Good luck with nationals. Good luck with all the athlete stuff and the curling things. Your commentary through the rest of the year.
Yeah. Please,
It's
please
been
watch
good so far.
this next week.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
we'll
thanks,
talk
man.
off the show. We'll give you some like, special words
Pointers?
you can say on your broadcast, and
Sure.
just like a special shout out to the show. So
I my finest hour was when I got butt stuff on the air. Oh yeah, it's really not that tough. You just have to know how to time it right. Like you say, you could play the run back here, but stuff's going to be flying everywhere. You just got to be smart about some of these things, and you can get away with it.
Yeah, I just gotta but stuff could go wrong.
Yeah,
so.
right. It was clear I said it still. Maybe not in the way that they were looking for, but that's the other thing too that I love about these broadcasts is if you guys text me during a game, I'm gonna talk about it. Like it's pretty much automatic unless it's somebody I don't like or they don't have anything to offer. Like if you text me during a game looking for some kind of shout out or anything, like I'm gonna mention it.
I love it.
And
I love it.
Yeah, that's the fun part about having the mic is you get to have fun with stuff like that. And it
it
really is my favorite thing that I get to do still in the sport. I love broadcasting. I really do. It can be a lot to do the long weeks, and nationals is going to be a hell of a long week for me because I'm either coaching or broadcasting every single game of the tournament. So it's going to be
you're never not going to be at the curling club.
No. And then there's night practice to match rocks too. So what the hell?
All right, man.
But I do enjoy it, and I'm glad that people have seemed to approve of the job that I've done to this point.
100%.
And hope that everybody watches this next week. Our top teams playing in my backyard.
Very good. Good luck. Godspeed.
On the drinking side of town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no non-drinking side anymore. We fixed that thing.
Yeah. That's good.
Very good. Good luck. Godspeed. Thank you again for joining us. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ty.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening in. Big thanks to our sponsors, as always, Modus Financial. Check them out at moduscc.com for all of your POS needs. Otherwise, also go to Endgame, endgamecurling.com. If you need a new brush, new broom, a new travel, whatever, check them out. You can get them at Steve's, too. I like Steve's Curling. Listen in to Nationals for some pop-up deals. Listen to the games. You might get yourself a good deal at Steve's Curling. Impossible to know.
There's going to be some.
There's going to be some surprise deals.
Not impossible to know because we're telling you right now.
We're telling you right now, and we would never lie. All right. Otherwise, if you can think of a gold medalist that you'd like to have on the show, email the show. We'll see what we can do. curlingnation@curlingnetwork.com.
Kobe Bryant.
That'd be a tough get.
Gonna be a tough get.
Tough get. R.I.P.
LeBron.
R.I.P. Black.
He's a gold medalist.
Probably also a tough get. He's in the middle of the NBA season. That would be a tough one.
Well, we'll figure out.
Let's get out of the show here. If you want some ends cards, we still probably have some laying around. We can send them to you.
Yeah.
You probably got some Bonspiels coming up. You can take them. That's always a good time. Email the show. We can get those out to you. You can hit us up on social media if you want. I'm out on Facebook and the X or the Twitter. I think I even have Instagram now. I don't know. Craig's probably out on some of those things. Joel's out on some of those things. You can find us.
Quitting all those things.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I don't know. Anyway, that's probably it. End of the show. Thanks for listening. Mike.
Craig.
Joel.
Good curling, everybody. Out.